And a good Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully you're feeling better than me because I stayed up and watched the whole game out there, and I am groggy as can be for today's edition of Phillies Fastball. Phillies shut out in San Francisco. You were hoping that, like the other night, they could get a little rally going late, but the offense, like most times against lefty boys, was not there last night. Rough night for Cristopher Sánchez, but really rough night for the Phillies defense. Let's get into it. Jeff Kerr, Oscar Budejen, and of course our Phillies Fastball segment here. You got a lot of things to look at. Last night was one of those games where you say, okay, this defense not capable, not good enough, but this offense that we talk about almost daily, boys, really was a culprit last night. Oscar, we'll start with you. 0 for 6 runners in scoring position, 8 guys left on base. I feel like that stat is coming up almost daily.
Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, it was ugly. It's probably the ugliest, if the ugliest game of the year in my view. Cristopher, his velocity is down on his sinker is down 2 miles an hour. I don't think there is much concern in my view with regards to long term with him, but he definitely was having issues locating his pitches. Are hitting 4 hits against another lefty. It is very concerning. This team cannot do anything against lefties. Now I think we're 2 and 4 for the season against lefties, and it's something somebody has to do something about it. And the defense was horrendous, to be honest with you. I mean, look, the reality, Kemp is not a capable left fielder, and having Brian De La Cruz down in AAA and not having the ability to be able to be up here and then play at least much better defense in left field, it is an issue in my view.
Jeff, we talked a lot about Kemp and his offense, what he brings offensively, but is it enough offense to be able to keep putting him in left field? What do you think about that?
He just hasn't had the at-bats. I mean, let's be realistic here. He hasn't. And look, I'm concerned about their hitting against left-hand pitching too, because it's bad. They're last in batting average. They're OPS. They're 28th, right? This is not good. But how many opportunities have they had against lefties? Left-hand starters it's a trend. I'm going to say that. But look, this team was pretty good against left-hand pitching last year with a lot of these guys: Edmundo Sosa, Otto Kemp. Look, Alec Bohm.
Schwarber was hitting really good against lefties.
But Alec Bohm not playing last night did not help. Dylan Moore playing second base last night. That was a weird one. It was just, I don't know. I don't want to say it felt like a throwaway game, but it didn't look like a game where it just didn't feel like it was their night. But I agree with you, Oscar, about Kemp's defense. You just can't have this in left field.
And in that stadium, Jeff, I mean, opening, and I understand why they brought Kemp in. Having Kemp in left field is a liability. We knew it was going to happen. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. There was going to be issues on defense in left field. I mean, that ball over his head, I mean, basically it could cost the game. I mean, as simple as that.
Well, it did cost them the game because they didn't score any runs. So that's how I look at it.
You're right about that. It didn't cost them the game because they didn't score any runs, but it is deflating that you got a major league left fielder who can't make a play where the ball is pretty much hit right at him, and then he's floundering around like a dead fish on the warning track out there. It's just not a good look. Now, you're right. Their offense got nothing going, but you got your right-handed guys against lefties, Robbie Ray, and Kemp 0 for 2. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Dylan Moore 0 for 3. Sosa did have a hit. So those guys, who had to play because Bohm apparently had a groin tightness in the groin there. But you also had Realmuto last night. X-rays negative, so you lost him, and Marchand was 0 for 4 with the strikeout. That bottom of the order that had been giving you a little something gave you nothing last night.
Yeah, sure. And you know what? This is where my frustration lies with Otto Kemp, right? He's supposed to be a hitter. Look at those numbers. 091, 258 OPS, 0 for 4, 2 strike. If he doesn't hit, this is where I agree with both of you guys. You just can't put him out there. He has to hit to make up for that defense.
Yep.
I just go back to we have issues in the outfield. We wanted to have a platoon. I understand why Kemp is here. I understand that he's bad. It's something that we want to continue to grow. He has shown throughout his career that he can hit and that he's a hitter. But the reality is he's not a left fielder. He's not playing enough in left field to be able to be a left fielder. And those are the things that happens. the other thing is yesterday you had a combination of three major things here. You only got 4 hits. I mean, your ace allowed 11 hits in that game.
Yeah. Ooh.
And in addition to that, you make 2 errors. So, I mean, the combination, you had the 3. I mean, there's no way you were going to win the game yesterday. I mean, 4 hits, you allow 11 hits, and at the same time, you commit 2 errors. And
not a game. No, Oscar, you're right. It's not a game you were going to win, whether or not Kemp makes a play or maybe gets a base hit. But it does show the lack of depth to this bottom half of the roster a little bit. I would ask this question: Dylan Moore, is he really a necessity on this team? Can't Kemp fill the Dylan Moore position and then bring De La Cruz up? Now you have a real.
That's where I agree.
And by the way, quite frankly, Dylan Moore has more experience playing left field than Kemp does. Why not just play Kemp at third, let Moore play left field, and play Sosa at second base? Why? Now, I get it. If you're committed to Kemp playing left field, strict platoon, you got to let him go out there and play. But in the beginning of the season, maybe you should have said, hey, Kemp is not our platoon left fielder. We're going to use him as a third baseman, a first baseman, and as a right-handed bat off the bench. But I get it. They also want him to play more.
Here's a question I have for you guys. If Dylan Moore doesn't have the March 21st opt-out in this contract, is he on this baseball team?
Even with that opt-out, what necessity does he bring to this team? I get it. He's versatile. He plays a lot of positions, but Sosa can play second, third, and short. Kemp can play first and third. Not well, but at least he could do it.
He can do it.
And he's
Dylan
not a
Moore,
hitter. That's
how often? And Dylan Moore is not a hitter, correct. So how often is Dylan Moore really going to play for you where he's a necessity to have on the roster? Now, is it a make-or-break thing that's going to cost them? Probably not, but in the grand scheme of things, the lack of depth on this team, you lose one guy to injury, couldn't be in the lineup last night, shortened everything up, and that's where it shows.
Also, I got to point this out because I do like Rafael Marchand as a backup catcher, but he's been off to a bad start too with the pitching staff. He was the catcher for Taijuan Walker's both starts. We've seen how that went. I mean, Cristopher Sánchez, and you're right, Oscar. His sinker velocity was down. He didn't have his best stuff, but how much does Marchand call in the game instead of Realmuto affect?
Let's not blame Marchand for the Taijuan Walker starts.
I'm just saying he's there, and I can blame him for hitting 091. Look, he's a backup catcher.
He's a backup catcher. I mean, he's a backup catcher. The throw, the out he made at home with the throw from Garcia and
great.
The throw to first base. I mean, those were 2 tremendous defensive plays there.
Look, he's good. By the way, I wanted to ask you guys this because Kerkering had those flashbacks last night. I thought it was the right move for Marchand to pick up the ball because I thought he had a better chance of getting that out at first, even though I don't think either had a play there.
Yeah, I think you always want the catcher to kind of circle and then square towards first rather than the pitcher make a throw. The pitcher's not used to making that kind of throw, and it's a more square throw for that catcher if he circles the ball correctly, which Marchand, it's just a tough play no matter who.
Why did social media just go after Kerkering because of that? When if you know anything about baseball, it's the catcher's ball there.
Yeah, and listen, I think Kerkering has handled this whole situation pretty well. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to start the season with the team, and now he's kind of starting on a nondescript game out west and that first hit, and it just brings everybody back to that moment. So he's pitching in a game where the offense is struggling, and everybody's just looking for reasons, I think, to complain.
Look, it's funny, right? I mean, that something like that happens. You go like, what in the world is going on here? Look,
the baseball gods.
Yeah,
of all the plays in baseball, that was the play.
You know what? I move on. What happened last year happened last year. Let's focus on this year and let's find a way to win. And one thing that was concerning yesterday was Cristopher Sánchez. I mean, that to me, allowing 4 runs, 2 of them earned. The defense issues around that, but 11 hits is not common. In the last start, you saw the 4 bases on balls. Today, you see the 11 hits, and one of the things that I noticed throughout the game is his ability to spot pitches. He normally has good command of his pitches. Over the last 2 or 3 years, he did not have that same command, so his velocity was slightly down. His command was not there, and he was frustrated. He felt frustrated. So, look, it's the beginning of the year. Things can turn around very quickly. He feels healthy. I mean, he said it yesterday in the broadcast. So look, he should be fine.
I agree with that.
With all this, Oscar, he still is in the ERA under 2.
And he had 16 swing and miss on top of it.
Yeah.
So look, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I mean, it's just a matter of time. Bad outing. Let's just move on. It's San Francisco. But by the way, guys, do you know we have not won a series in San Francisco since 2013?
Yeah, May of 2013 is the last time they won in San Francisco. So if they can get a good game from Aaron Nola today, Nola pitched well in the game in Colorado. Look, I know Colorado, not a great lineup, but that's not an easy place to pitch. He gives up 1 run in that win out there. We'll talk a little bit about Nola in just a bit there. But, obviously this lineup, we've been talking about the lack of ability against left-handed pitching, guys. And, man, the numbers in the splits are really bad.
Oh man.
By
the way,
lefties.
Oscar, I love this chart because it just shows you how much they're struggling to even score runs right now. 3.8.
They're not scoring runs, and we're the only ones in red in both. And I decided to take out runs against you per game and put ERA. Take a look at it. We're the only ones in red that have both in red. I mean, and
it's actually amazing they're only a game out of this thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's early, but this is good.
By the way, our friend Phillies tailgate Tyler over there, the splits against lefties this year, they are hitting 158 with 32 strikeouts, a 268 on base percentage. Against righties, a 260. So the difference is 260, almost 100 points higher batting average.
And you know what the irony of this is? Like, they were good against left-handed pitching last year. You could justify Mundo Sosa playing every day. You could justify the platoon, like whoever it was. And I think a lot of this had to do with Harrison Bader being here too at the end of the year. But like, this team mashed lefties last year. But I agree with Oscar 100%. Everybody knows that's their weakness.
Yeah. So, Jeff, the lineup is not out, and I'm glad you brought JT. I mean, we haven't talked enough about JT. I mean, JT going out yesterday, pretty scary injury. I mean, he hit him. It's like those injuries that it hits you in the right spot. And, I mean, hopefully it's just a bruise based on everything that we know us at this point. And hopefully, if he's not back in the lineup today, he will be over the weekend. Maybe give him a couple of days.
And I thought today would have been I thought today would have been a Marchand day anyway.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be a Marchand day regardless. But, yeah, you're right. Give him a couple days off. Maybe he's back by Friday.
Yeah. Well, and, obviously, Bohm not being in the lineup last night, you lose, any semblance of the right-handed bat. And let's have that discussion because you moved Garcia up the lineup last night. And, obviously a different night for Garcia, pitched a little differently there because some people already want to rush him into the number 4 hole. So, sometimes you perform because of where you're how you're being pitched, where you are in the lineup. And last night Garcia was in that 4 spot because Bohm was not in the lineup.
Yeah, that's true. But by the way, Tyler from Phillies tailgate advanced. I was waiting to tomorrow that we have the off day so we can talk about lefty versus righties and also the ABS system and where the Phillies rank in the ABS system. So that one is coming tomorrow. A preview of the show tomorrow.
Isn't JT like 5 for 5 on challenges?
Yeah. I'll show you where we are. I mean, we're like in the middle of the pack. On the middle of the pack. That's kind of the bottom line. But I'll show that tomorrow. But
look, which ain't bad. I think I'd rather be in the middle of the pack than at the bottom.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. So
type guy.
Here's the at bats, and I changed kind of how many hits they have and all that, and I put the on base percentage on it. We have only 3 hitters that are what you would call above the on-base percentage: Schwarber, Realmuto, and Crawford. By the way, Crawford is the only guy in our entire lineup that has both a batting average above the average and an on-base percentage above the average, which I find it amazing that the rookie is the one that has those numbers.
Yeah, 361, by the way, for Crawford on base, 324 batting average. You take a look at Turner, 277 batting average, but just a 320 on base percentage. He has struck out 10 times, so that 2, 3, 4, 5 spot in the orders, though, guys. That's where a lot of this is. Schwarber 179, Harper 214, Bohm 205, Stott 188, and all of their on base percentage, even throw Garcia in there, under 300, except for Harper and Schwarber. Schwarber's on-base percentage is still pretty good, 360. Harper, though, 313. Bohm, 295. Stott, 235. Garcia, 289. Just not a lot of guys on base for this team so far.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I mean, that's part of the problem. And the bottom of the order with March, Realmuto, and Crawford, those are the ones that are getting on base, but the guys on top are not bringing them in. And Schwarber continues to do his magic in terms of getting on base. He has 9 base on balls and an OPS of 822, but it's just disappointing. I mean, this lineup, and the way I look at it, guys, is this team is performing based on individual performance versus a team performance. So they're not operating as a complete unit where the entire team is supporting each other in terms of advancing runners and finding a way to score runs. They depend too much on the home run ball, the extra bases to be able to score runs, and that's not the formula for success.
All right, our Phillies fastball segment. Let's get a look at the hitting. Certainly not doing much.
Sorry, Mike. I'll throw you this one so you guys can laugh.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No, the comment for the people watching on the video side, the Phillies missed Castellanos was from a commenter. I would have to say no. Even if Garcia was hitting 110 right now, he threw a guy out at the plate last night with a laser. His right field defense has been significantly, noticeably different than what Castellanos brings. And by the way, Castellanos has not done much in San Diego, and nor has Bader in San Francisco.
It's almost like the Phillies knew. No one ever wants to give him credit for anything, but
I think they knew, Jeff. What they knew is they couldn't have him in this locker room again. I think that's what they knew, right? Yeah. And that you could probably make a case that they couldn't have him in this locker room if he was a productive hitter. It was that bad. It seemed like.
If he was, even if he was, like, I think it's hard to justify getting rid of him. But yeah, I would agree. Like, it just felt like it. At least when Oscar and I were in the clubhouse last year, especially toward the end, it looked like the point of no return. And I still remember making the comment. When he was making his comments after game 2, I said, that's a guy who's got his foot out the door.
Yeah. Well, let's look forward to the game coming up at 3:10. The Phillies and the Giants. They'll face Tyler Mahle, who struggled against the Mets on Friday night. 5 runs, 8 hits in his 5 innings of work. The Phillies will counter, of course, with Aaron Nola, who pitched well in his last game out in Colorado after an uneven performance on his opening start against the Rangers here. And look, Nola is in a spot now where, hey, they need a good version of Nola here. Otherwise, you risk kind of losing this series. And then having the thought of, all right, what is Aaron Nola? If Nola can have a good start here, I think that will put some momentum towards his season.
Well, this is the reality of this game. Nola has not done well at Oracle Park. He's 0-2 with a 10.91 ERA. And versus really San Francisco, in his career, he's 3-3 with a 7 ERA. So that is concerning. Miley's not good. Remember, Miley have pitched his career in Cincinnati, in Texas, and in Minnesota. Now he's getting into Oracle Park. In Oracle Park, he's 1-4 with a 5.60 ERA. But against the Phillies, he's 1-1 and 3.43. So bottom line, Nola has not fared well against San Francisco, and a 10.91 ERA in Oracle Park is a little scary.
No doubt about it. And, you're kind of putting this in his lap now to say, hey, we need a big bounce back here because, last night you're expecting to get that night from Sanchez that you didn't really get. Not that they had to use the high leverage guys in the bullpen, but you don't want to have to go to the bullpen early in this one. And keep in mind, you got Luzardo.
I'll give Mike some love there. You just made up for the Castellanos comment.
Yeah, Aaron Nola day. Yes, it is. It's Nola day. But keep in mind, they do have the day off tomorrow. So if Nola struggles a little bit here, I wonder if they turn to that bullpen and, you didn't have to use the high leverage guys last night. So you got the final game. By the way, it's a 3:45 first pitch, not 3:10. They do have the day off tomorrow before they come home on Friday against Arizona when Luzardo will pitch.
I have to laugh at this, by the way. We were talking about Adolis Garcia. How about all the stuff he wears when it's cold out?
Oh,
I
my
said to my
goodness.
girlfriend last night, I said, there's no way it's that cold out there.
I mean, he looks like it's what was it last night? Maybe in the 50s. He looked like it was like I was going to Alaska or something in December.
Hey guys, it's 56 degrees. What can we expect? We Latinos cannot receive
I'll tell you what, guys. I got a story. I got a story for you. So last night I was at the Reading Hartford game. It was Reading's home opener, and we're sitting by the Hartford dugout, and I'm talking to some players on the Yard Goats. And I said to one of the pitchers, I'm like, you're a smartest man here. And he said, why is that? And I said, because you got coffee in your hand. And he's like, yeah, I got to drink that before I pitch. And I'm like, you do that when it's 90 degrees? He's like, no. But I thought it was really cold last night around here.
Well, Jeff, you just brought it up. I saw you were in Reading last night. Give us a quick little expository on some of the things down on the farm.
Well, you didn't miss much offensively because they lost 3-1. Reading is 0-4 on the season right now. Hasn't been a good start. Dante Nori, though, he had 2 hits last night, both singles. I think trying to remember, he did steal base last night, what I recall. By the way, I talked to Nori for a while last week, and he's going after Aidan Miller's stolen base record of 52. He thinks he can get 70, maybe even 100, because of the disengagement thing. It's 1 disengagement now in Double-A instead of 2.
One disengagement? Oh,
one disengagement in Double-A. Yeah, it's not Triple-A, it's not Single-A, but it's in Double-A. They're experimenting with a bunch of rules, so he thinks that's an advantage. But I mean, look, Caden Hanger, the 21-year-old, had a good spring for the Phillies. He had a nice hit ball last night. He threw 3 runners out at second. Look, there's some promise on this team. They're just not putting everything together yet, and it's hard to come back from an 0-4 start. Hard to come back from an 0-anything start, but. I mean, right now Reading team-wise, it's not good, but you're seeing some promise out of a lot of play. Arun Escobar had a couple nice plays in the field last night, too.
He's a player, man. He's a ball player.
He is a good player.
And his pedigree, it speaks aloud. And just one thing, Mike, before we go. Maley, the Phillies against Maley, Schwarber has 2 home runs against them, and Dylan Moore has a home run. He's 1 for 2 with a home run against them. So they hit 308 against him, so that's an opportunity. And then the other thing that I was looking, remember, teams and changings constantly. So the current San Francisco lineup against Nola or team against Nola, 178. Nobody has hit a home run against them. The guy that hits the most against them is Patrick Bailey, hitting 400. But he's 2 for 5, but not significant damage against Nola. The guys that are there.
All right, boys, 3:45 is the first pitch for the Phillies. It's Nola and Maley today. Day off tomorrow, but not a day off for Phillies fastball. We'll get you ready. The Phillies will take Arizona. It's Luzardo and Soroka on Friday. Saturday, you got Taijuan Walker against Brandon Pfaadt. And, of course, Painter will get his 3rd start of the season. That's a good one. Painter and Zach Gallen on Sunday. We'll be previewing all the matchups there here on our
also Zach Wheeler pitches tonight too for Lehigh.
Oh, good pick by out in Allentown. Yes, so we'll recap Zach Wheeler's performance tonight, and of course the Phillies' performance against the Giants, where they are 7-24 in their last 31 games at Oracle Park. And as you mentioned, Oscar, they look to win the series at Oracle for the first time since May of 2013. We'll recap it all on Phillies Fastball tomorrow. For Oscar and Jeff, I'm Mike. Thanks, everybody.